What's your plan? I know nothing. Voice chat knows. What stock was that again? What is up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Read the Room here with Unc. Get this week started off right. Um, kind of as we mentioned last week, after the big historical crescendo 2 weeks ago, uh, I expect a little bit of a sideways action um, with great range to trade. Week totally delivered on that. I expect that to continue this week with a couple of things maybe picking themselves up off the bottom, depending on the news or you know how the socials go. You know how that goes. But I definitely like what I'm seeing. Best thing you can do is know what the water's going to be and be able to predict it and trade around it. So let's get right into the news here. Kind of got a slow Monday coming up, second week of the month. Um, kind of maybe expect the trend to continue from Friday. Not a big news day, so if anything does get news on Monday, expect most people to gravitate towards that and or the sector. Tuesday kind of heats up a little bit with the ER as well as Wednesday with the Fed talking. Highlight of that day would be the AMD merger talk. We're looking for news on that coming into this week. Um, Also have just a lot of really good ERs. Um, Disney stands out as a company that might be a little beat down. That with good news could make a pretty substantial move. Piton, we all know what's been going on with them, especially in the room. Affirmed, Pepsi's one of them, the defense stocks the professor likes. Good to go to. Also have Pfizer, just a bunch of good ones. Personally, I like Chegg this week. I'm big on the Piton. Datadog seems like a sleeper to me. Kickstart that cloud space. Um, I believe we also have DraftKings, TSP, and Chipotle all on watch. Thursday, we had the CPI report coming out. So we do kind of want to watch that. Tunes shout for the ER was Uber, big watch there, and then of course Lyft and DoorDash would play off of that. So a little bit of everything this week, um, especially as it goes to the ER. Maybe not as big as names as last week, but definitely some plays with decent charts for moves either to the north or south side. All right, I'm gonna hop right in here to Tunes plays this week for most of these, I believe, are ER run-ups. From a TA standpoint, I see what he's looking at. They're all pretty much on the bottom. This Under Armour is first, probably the best technical setup for me. There's at least a shelf there at 19, which it's trying to respect. And you do have a bottom that's a dollar or two away. A big move even back to the consolidation level of 23. I think this gets better after 23. With the way ERs have been going lately, you can see past moves. Another thing that definitely stands out to me is this thing has had great pushes off the last two ERs. Maybe that will continue here. Apps as well. Again, I said all these charts have the same. This one for me had the worst from the downtrend. So again, what falls can also come up. If Tunes on things with ER, he likes something about the company. I can see they definitely posted positive ER. So it's beating those expectations. Even back to the 63 middle level. This is a little cleaner chart, but the fall scares me a little bit. And the last one for Tune this week on the ER, we did Under Armour, we did apps. And excuse me, another play. Sorry, the AMD play. This is not ER. This is the merger news. We're looking for that. But holding this 122 level, I really like, especially if we're supposed to get news for continuation on. A&D is definitely a ticker that a lot of homework's done on, especially on the option side. So when this is called, it's usually a pretty safe bet, as opposed to like an Nvidia or an Apple, in my opinion. And Tune's number one shout of the week, I believe, was the Uber. Also another ER play. I really like the range on this, especially if you get above the 44, 45, in my opinion. Their ER plays are pretty much hit and miss. So hopefully this is the one that will take off and give them right direction. Lyft and DoorDash are some sympathy plays to this. Again, these are to be volatility in the option flow is what should be played here, so be mindful of that. All right, next up, we'll get into the professor's looks this week. I'm gonna start with Blink. Talked about this one a little bit in voice chat, and I didn't really like this one as much from a TA standpoint. But with the flow reads being so strong, looking at this, if you can get this anywhere sub 20, play the stop to 18. That's your 10% right there for me, and the range up is closer to 50, back to the 30 level. So I do like this play a little bit more because I basically trust the flow. And we also brought up, which is really good, to have a secondary play. I did like this one a little bit more from the technical standpoint because it gave me I believe we said the 4 to 350 with the same kind of range. But the trade are there on both of these, especially if the flow is um, good as well. I also like, since we're in this sector, I didn't mention it in voice chat, but again, you just need to find one you like. I like Beam. You can see it has a little better shelf down here that I've been trading off of already. I've mentioned this a few times. It's been charting channels. You just have to search the group. But again, this whole sector is good. Whether you want the best TA one, which is Beam, whether you want the best combo one, which is FCell, or whether you want the best flow read right now, which is Blink. They're all pretty much covered in a move that is going to be in the EV charging space. It's a sector rotation. They're all beat down, and again, you look for good TA setups and the flow to come in to swim with the whales. Shopify is a ER play from the professor. I believe we're playing run up to that. Just strong flow reads to 1100. I like the 1100 level as an exit strategy where you get in at. Totally up to you, but I see the 749 area as if we get below that, we will be in trouble. So manage your risk accordingly. Even looking at this on the I'll go even larger on the time frame. Yeah, I mean we're not in the middle of a zone, but if we see the movement up here to this 1100, I definitely. I mean, I don't think we're gonna get eights, to be honest with you. But this has to be your line in the sand right now, or you play it like I play options and you buy the stop loss. This case, I don't think we're getting 749, but if you see this called this week, especially around this ER date, strong flow read suggests the move to the north. Another ER play, I believe, from the professor. Already kind of came off of key level, but the flow reads suggest that this will continue. Kind of a beatdown materials, a lot of insider ownership, so I like it in that regard. It's kind of hard to get a chart read off of those sometimes, but the 16.75 or $17 level kind of seems like it's it. I'm looking for a strong move through the 2021 and continuation into the strikes that the professor calls from the share side on day trades. You can see this thing kind of does move. The last few ERs have been great. Obviously, they're materials. So again, it's a sector flow read. Next up, we have gold, and just overall, I think it's a subclass of materials would be gold, but gold in itself, this play is the best from the flow setups. I believe the calls are 27, which lines up almost perfectly with the RTL system. 18 is a solid area of support, so we have very limited risk right now getting in. This setup I actually like a little bit better than the setup I've been preaching forever after I stole it from the professor as something that everybody should be trading because it works from all angles. Is this AUY, and as you can see, it's rotated around the four. I have 424 here, but it's rotated around this $4 level for since he mentioned it. Perfectly sits again. Pump for the system, RTL system perfectly sits on this consolidation box. Um, like it a lot, playing back to that level. I'm still in and out of this thing because of the range it offers. Um, this one has better flow reads, and at this point in time, the $9 move to 27 seems like a pretty good place to be um, putting a position at this time. And this is probably the number one collaboration find, which that doesn't mean much, but just that it kind of hit all the checks of both systems finally. AI, really like this company. It's got earnings next month. The flow reads are finally strong. It just has tremendous range back. I kind of caught that it was leveling out here in the 20s about a week and a half ago, and just it's really felt like it was time. It tried to get up off the floor once, but that's what we need is some sideways action. Good time to add slowly. We talked about adding shares of these slowly but surely under a price range, and then being there for when the move does happen. But this thing, yeah, just beat down. This one finally got the flow read. The other one I like is this one, solid for sure, and it hasn't got the flow read yet, but it's very similar in the regards. We're just kind of waiting for something to hold. The consolidation's better over here, so on the TA side, I like it a little better. But when you get the flow and the TA together, you just can't really beat it. So right now, I said when Professor brought it up on Friday, I said in 25 below 25 ads are great, but just looking at the chart and where we are now, I think even up to 28 to 30, you would be fine long term. Bitcoin seems to still be doing good. Um, there's more plays than we can shake a stick at in that department. I'd just be mindful to find one. The two I've been preaching drop pre-market Friday, as well as more times than I can mention previously is Hut and Ebon. Everyone should have ate money on Friday on this. We got a huge move after hours, so I'm expecting some pullback on Monday. But this is still, from the flow side, this is still the one. From the penny side, Ebon is just waiting to go. I mentioned this a while ago that this is going to take off, and we are getting some harmonics back. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But Charton's channels I screened on Monday, the 31st. Yeah, 85 to a buck, 10, and then that was your first signal, 85 to buck 10 in the B's page. And when we got up here and started holding 115 for 2 or 3 days, I specifically said look at stocks that are holding during the I believe it's the Feds that were talking, because we had a big dip, and this thing just held the whole day, and we got another move out of it. I don't expect it to stop. I expect it to continue with harmonics. That's why we bought $2.50 calls. This is a little bit more in and out play. Hut's a little more safer, but there's still things like Coin, Any, which we're going to talk about a little later, and several other ones that, it just kind of depends if you like it or not. The lagging one right now, we have one that's kind of lagging in the sector, and I'll also mention that in my coming up notes. And I guess we'll just start there with it. Nile is a little beat down here, and this is the probably the biggest lagging in the sector. I think people just forgot that it was DPW. Professor likes this one a little more, but again, if you're in the Bitcoin sector, we definitely don't want to chase, but you got to notice when they all move. Pay attention to the Bitcoin price, because it really moves off of that. When it broke 40K, this whole sector took off. All right, let's get into a quick recap of what's on the list from last week. We had DNA, ones we haven't gotten over. We had DNA, uh, probably again. I don't know when I got to tell you. I thought Sunday was early enough, but we made the $5 to $6 move like it was nothing. Um, we kind of got this price target news of $6 from Bank of America, which they are a trusted institution. So I'm a little mindful if this is going to go up any more, but I'm still adding below 6 for day trades. Fubu, I don't believe this is over yet. We nailed the bottom here. Had one good move to 1150. I said last week I'm looking for 1050 to confirm. It did not. We're under this zone, so coming back to 9 is not out of the realm of possibility. That's what you look for. That's what you don't know. We had one day on the good side and 2 days on the bad side, so I'm see what happens next week. But overall, I still think this is far from done. I really think we come back to the $20 level inside the next 6 months on there. Huffy, I like what we're seeing here, especially on the day chart. We're getting these tighter candle consolidations, kind of flatten out instead of the downward move. Dollar 10, I was real adamant about in chat is where I'm adding, and I'm also adamant in chat about it being stuck in that gosh darn zone. But the move should come eventually. This is hospitality. I love their partnerships. They're in the process of building things right now, so that there will always be news. Hut we talked about. I was blue in the face. Yeah. Lucid called the move down from 34 to 27. Just a beautiful call. Landed right in the zone. Right in the zone. I know people were playing this back to 30. Had people playing both sides of this in the room. Beautiful thing. I love to see that kind of trading where we just eat like lions in there. That's the best. I do like the 26-27 range. That's where I added on the first time up, my last ad spot after the $17 ad. So I do like this is actually a spot I was looking for in the long run. So some confirmation off this level with some news. They should have news coming up here next month, I believe. Um, I like it with good news to make a decent jump. Maybe even back to 40 for a 50%. But a 20 and 30% move is not out of the realm from this position at 26 with good news. Re almost perfect. Called last week. Let it get back down here in this 70 to 40 range. We're there. So now we can play it back to the $4 RTL. I prefer to play this side of the RTL because you'll sometimes get the move through it, and that's where the money comes off of the system is when you break through a $4 RTL and up, not when you bounce off of it. Usually those are just little pops. So when you can get a decent dip underneath it, playing back to it and through it with news is the best way to go. This is right on top of my ad zone right now. You have to let things cool off after you take 60% out of them, just the way it is. Rig, this is a combo play with the professor. I got to back this one out on the chart so you could see the trend line, but we're still just killing this trend line from when we started trading this. This is another can't lose play. I believe he has $4 calls in the books. Had a big move, big moves last week. Again, let stocks cool off. Play them higher lows. This one right here, really do some homework on if you're having trouble learning how to, basically get in and out of trades, or why I'm only 5% up on this and I've had it for 320% moves. This kind of chart will really help you because you get perfect higher lows. You got to learn how to take a percentage just planned out of those higher lows. Starbucks falling into that zone. Let's go. I'm still hoping for 90 ads, but I don't think we're gonna get it before the flow takes over. SDC, perfect example of why we have numbers like 260. It's a telltale sign to me when we break out and come back down to it that it basically has exhausted the move that I seen. So I'm looking for this to reset. I'm usually a 10% guy, 5% guy, so 210, especially with RTL 215, 210, it's kind of what I'm looking to hold solid, um, like it did back in here, and maybe we can get another move again. Socials are on this one. I don't feel as great about it as I do now, but we already took this thing to $2 to 280. If you got in where I said, and you got out at the top, you had it in it. It's pretty good move. If you day traded the crap out of this thing, you did fine as well too. So um, I like that. Last but not least, XBOT. Just too much going on here, man. This and DNA were like, I like them still both, but the DNA getting the $6 breaks from Bank of America kind of took some of the heat out of that. I would like it to still run farther. These guys with the CEO change, it's just made it kind of change sideways. I believe Pele got in down here. Shout out to Pele. Uses the RTL system beautifully, constantly. I know by the questions he asks. But he nailed the bottom here. I think he got 25, and the lowest it was 24. Got out here at the top because I'm a big 38.44 guy. It's where a lot of the insiders added. And it's just like they want the stock at that level. Real fishy to me. New CEO, we're back at that level. So I'm fine with adding them there. I'm fine with adding them with those guys since they know what they're doing. That they're working for the company. This and DNA though, real just basically COVID flex plays. It's nothing you want to hold long term. All right, and real quick, my ER plays again. The ones that I would play if I was on the option side would definitely be Disney Affirmed, Datadog, BP, Chegg, and Piton. On the share side, Affirm, Piton, Chegg are the ones that I would go. Disney, I think if you're going to add long term, that's the time to do it now. A couple buy low plays, Lemonade, Affirmed, and Matterport. I'll drop some notes on that in my channel later. And just in from the professor. Actually got this as I was making the video, so I'm gonna add it just to get it out there. I found this again digging in the sector. Professor found a beat down blockchain. I think Hive is one that needs to be mentioned. It's right at $2 right now. If you look at the chart, we definitely have room back to the $3 or $4 level, which again, it's 50 to 100%. So it's just for me about finding the bottom to add. I like these plays that going in this week because they still have a little gas and Bitcoin doesn't look to be going down. So I quickly come off the chart. This is the bottom. We don't want it to go anywhere close to there. 175. 170 would be my next bottom. I'm fine with playing that off too. So I'm trying to get $2 ads on the dip on Monday right away. It did it last Monday to 89. I wouldn't expect it to go anywhere. So 190s is what I'm looking for. And I look for this thing to make substantial moves this week, even to the 240 would be 20%. And the risk reward ratio just seems really good on this. All right, since we Bitcoin dominant, we're gonna stay here. I just want to talk about my social pumps, my most likely to squeeze, as everyone likes to say. Annie, we caught this on Friday. Everyone picked it up across the social platforms, and then the shorts came to town too. I expect this to be highly volatile going into next week, especially if Bitcoin stays up. And there's BBIG. This thing's not going away. It's not going away at all. I'd be mindful of charts like that, and then as well as DWAC, which Professor's been on for a while. Since we picked this one up down here in the little, I think right at 60. It might have been this one, but we picked this one up a while ago. Pretty easy to spot these guys. So those would be my three social pumps I always talk about. If you want to go over there and not trade consistent stuff like Mr. ASRT. Other than that, the one I like sleeper right now that if you want to like be in pre-social pump, this thing's already went once. Social path, I believe it's called, society path, but we're squeezing down here almost to the level it hit last time, and this is 3 to 20. I mean, this is not a here. Let me zoom in here. This is not a baby move. This is $3 to 15, and we're squeezing pretty tight again. So this is one I'm watching. I'll try to put some notes on at it tonight. We're already 25 in on the video, so that's probably enough of me talking. Um, Main point of it is sideways action. You can say the market's choppy. You can say the market's going down, or you can go out there and you can find a trade. Um, so be mindful and plan that out. It's really easy if you have skill sets to find things that fit your skill sets. So let's focus on developing those skill sets, guys. All right, that's it from Monk this week, everybody. Have fun out there. Perfect your game until you hear your fans. And them haters in the background, make sure you hear them too. All right, man. Have a good week. Get in, get the money, get out. You know what to do. Everybody, let's eat.